What would happen if you actually gave it your all this year? If you actually decided that this was the day that I'm going to start being true to myself? If you decided that you're no longer going to live by other people's expectations, you're no longer going to exist as something great according to other people, but you're going to live as something great according to you. What happened if you chose you today? What would that life look like? That's what I want to talk about in this video today, and really understand and unearth why we decide to live a life that is less than that. Because if you took a second to think about that and realize that that is not the life that you're actually living, then you have to ask yourself why. This is a video that I felt would be very important to think about and to make, because a lot of us want to succeed. A lot of us want to be at this new destination in life. But we fail to realize that if we keep doing the same things that we did before, we're likely to not get new results. I don't know who said this quote. I think it was Albert Einstein, but leave it in the comments if it's not. But he said that insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting different results. And sometimes we're trapped in a loop and we don't even know we're trapped in a loop. We're doing the same thing over and over and over, but because it has a different face, we think we're doing something different. I'll explain this a little bit deeper. So because we're meeting quote unquote new people, we think we're gonna end up in another circumstance. But sometimes because of who we are and how we think, the same new people that we're meeting fit the same characteristics of the people we've met in the past. Because we decide to go to new places, that doesn't mean that we're gonna get new results, because it's the same person that is going into a new place. So we're inevitably going to create the same world that we did in the past place. And that's why we feel like we're in a loop, even though we keep doing different things every single year. So in order to solve this, we have to start asking ourselves different questions. Start putting different formulas in so that you can get different results. And here are a few of those questions that I came up with to help you get out of that loop and start living a life that you know and I know is possible. Because sometimes the life that we want is only one decision away. So the first question that you have to ask yourself is, who am I doing this for? A lot of times when we're on this journey to becoming more, we have this idea of success. We have this idea of being complete, or this idea of what it looks like to be living your best life. But sometimes we have to peel back a layer, sit down with ourselves and ask ourselves, who gave us this idea? Where does this idea come from? Is it truly what we want? Or is this the idea of our parents? Is this the idea of our culture? Is this the idea of the friend group that we're chilling around with? Sometimes we're in a loop because we actually actualize these visions that our friends have for us, or these perspectives that the society or our family wants for us. We fulfill them, and then we still feel lost. So we ask ourselves a question: I have all these things, but why do I still feel lost? And that may be because you're fulfilling according to other people. Ask yourself, who am I doing this for? Why am I doing this? The second question that you have to ask yourself, if you knew you couldn't fail, would you still be pursuing what you're pursuing right now? Now, really unpack this question. If you knew that you were guaranteed success at whatever you did, would you be doing exactly what you're doing right now? Now, if the first thing that came to your mind is no, or I'd be doing something completely different, then really think about it. Why are you spending energy incrementally every single day to accomplish this goal that you don't really care about like that? It may be because, again, you're living according to other people's expectations. Or maybe you have an outdated vision. You had a perception maybe 5, 10 years ago as to who you wanted to be in life, but you never sat down with yourself again to think about, do I still want this vision? Do I still see myself as that person? Am I still that guy or that girl that wanted this dream to be accomplished in my early 20s? Maybe now you're in your 30s and you're still chasing that dream. But why? Maybe you're a completely different person. But it starts with asking yourself that question. And that's going to bring you one step closer to living a life that is for you and not for everyone else. Now, the third question that you have to ask yourself to get out of that loop and start living this year as a year that is a year of success is, what does success actually mean to you? Now, this is a follow-up to our last question. What does success actually mean to you? And don't give a generic answer. It's easy to give a generic answer. Oh, I want money. Oh, I want love. Oh, I want a new car. I want a house. I want to eat this type of food. I want to travel. This is generic stuff that everybody tends to say. But you're not everybody. You're you. And if there's one type of you, that means there's one type of life that is only for you. This is not a one-size-fits-all type of equation. So before you answer those generic things that first come to your mind, maybe take a moment with yourself and write it down, like a real moment. Take 30 minutes out of your day, 20 minutes out of your day, even 10 minutes out of your day. Write down, just look at a piece of paper and write down, what does success actually mean to you? Unaffected by your friends, unaffected by your parents, unaffected by who you think you are. Just raw. What does success mean to me? How does success feel to you? What is the feeling of success? What does that environment look like? And when you start writing those things down, you start to realize that a lot of those things are much more attainable than you'd like to imagine. And a lot of those things are much more feasible than the vague idea of, I want to travel, I want money. I'll give you an example. You could imagine that you need money in your life when really you just need to be able to manage the money that you already have. And you could afford the same lifestyle that you believe that you want. But if you don't take the time to write that down, to understand it, to understand where you're doing wrong and where you're doing right, how are you ever going to achieve that goal? The fourth question to ask yourself is, if your younger self met you today, would they be proud of who you've become? Now, this is important because we don't realize, I don't realize I'm aging a lot of the times. A lot of times you don't really think about it. You know, you're 18, then boop, you're 25, then boop, you're 30. Things are just flying past. So we never really take the time to introspect on the progress we've done or the lack of progress that we've done. Things just seem to be flying by. And all of a sudden, we're ready for retirement. So ask yourself this question. Will the younger you be proud of who you've become? The you at 10 years old, would you make that person proud? If you were to have a conversation with that person, would that person be like, wow, I want to be like this guy, or I want to live like this girl? Would they? Now, this is important because the more you age is the more you transform, is the more you adapt, is the more you become. And if you're going down a line of true, genuine success, no matter how different that journey would look, that same spark would still be there. And sometimes we're living life without a spark and we don't even realize it. So why are we doing what we're doing? So ask yourself that question. Would the young you be proud of you? The fifth question is, what are you pretending not to know about yourself? And this all ties into what we're speaking about. A lot of times we know exactly what we have to do. We know exactly what we're not doing versus what we're doing. We're just not doing it. Now just maybe get a journal, get a book, and write down, what are you pretending not to know about yourself? Maybe it's the fact that you never work out. Maybe it's the fact that you're the most unorganized person that this planet has ever seen. Maybe it's the fact that you never check your mail. I know I was guilty of that. I just had a type of phobia of opening mail, and I was like, it's not that important. This is completely random, but yeah, for the longest time, I just didn't want to open my mail. Like, I would get mail and I'd just be like, and they would just pile up. I'd actually go to the mailbox, take the mail, and put it down somewhere. And they would stack up. And I didn't realize that I was doing that. It's just a force of habit. Because I figured if I'm taking care of everything, why is it so important to check my mail? I'm paying all my bills. I'm doing all the things that I have to do. I don't need to check the mail. What could possibly be in there? Doesn't make sense. Don't try to rationalize it. So one day I sat down with myself and I said, this is ridiculous. I had a whole drawer full of unopened mail. I sat there for maybe 2 hours just opening mail. And I don't know, it was kind of scary to me. And then after that, to stop that, I developed a habit that every single time I got mail, every single time I passed the mailbox, I would open it and close it. Even if I knew I didn't have mail, I'd open it, check it, take it out, and that second I would open the mail. And then now I'm more on top of my things. A lot of people were trying to reach out to me by mail. I just never opened it. You know, I was missing out on my own blessings because of the habits that I had. So really ask yourself, what are you pretending not to know about yourself? Just fixing that could help you tremendously. Just fixing that could potentially put you where you want to be. But because you're ignoring it and you think that, life is just gonna work out, you never get to get it. So ask yourself this question. It will probably help. And this leads us to our sixth question. Are you making time for what truly matters to you? A lot of times we get in these low vibrational, depressed states because we're doing things that we don't really want to do. And even in our spare times, we're then doing things that other people want to do. So we're never really giving time to ourselves. That looks different for everybody. But it's finding out what does it mean to do things that you like. Maybe you like to go skating and you don't have one friend that goes skating, so you never go skating. Go skating. Maybe you'll meet somebody that likes to skate, and that's the start of something new. Maybe you guys are gonna join a professional skate team and be the champions of skating in the world. But you don't know that because you never gave yourself that chance to actually do what truly matters to you. Just that little difference in life can spark a whole new life for you, a whole new beginning. And it's as simple as just doing what matters to you. So find out what matters to you. And we're gonna close this video soon, but I felt like I had to save the best questions for last. And that is, first, what legacy do you want to leave behind? Now, this seems like a very generic question, a charged question, but a very generic question because, how do you know what legacy you're going to leave behind after you're gone? Like, it's going to be what it is. But I really thought of this question because of a speech that I heard from Malcolm X a long time ago. And I haven't looked at the speech for a long time, but it stayed with me. He said that I live life as a man that died like a long time ago. And so it's like he lives life backwards, already knowing what he's gonna do. That sounds complicated, but I'll explain. So if you live life as it's already complete, like you already see the vision, the entire vision is available to you after all of this introspection, and you have the vision clear to you, then what you can do to facilitate the actions and the thoughts that you have in the present day is go backwards from that future time. So you have the complete vision, you know exactly where you want to be, how you want to live, you've done all of the introspection, you know exactly what that life looks like. Wife, kids, I don't know, you're traveling all over the world, you're eating grapes in a vineyard, I don't know, but it's already complete. And you just go, okay, what did I do that day? Now go backwards. What did I do to get here? What did I do to get there? backwards and backwards and backwards until you reach to your present time. And that will give you an idea of what your next step should be in life, because you know exactly the legacy, the end result. So you just reverse engineer that life so that it is easy for you to make decisions in your current time. Because a lot of us, it's hard to decide what we have to do or to even find direction with what we want to be in life. So just applying this to your life can be the difference between living in a loop, doing the same thing over and over again, and having a clear, laser-focused vision about where you're going in life. So ask yourself what legacy that you want to leave behind. Not in an esoteric, theoretical way, but in a very clear way. Like, you have the exact vision. This is the end. What do I do? What did I do until I got to the end? Know what I mean? And the last question, which is the most important question. If not now, then when? And if not you, then who? This is your life. Start living it, because no one can do it for you. Now that we've asked these powerful questions and you really digested it and thought about it for yourself, I want to leave you with this thought. What if the life that you've always dreamed of is one decision away? If that reality is possible, would you make that decision? Let me know in the comment section. If this conversation sparked something within you, sparked a hope or a light within you, please subscribe, like the video, and leave me a comment to support the channel. I'll see you in the next video where we discuss things on being more true to you. See you next time.